Now, for more on the security situation in the Northwest region, in light of the recent events, we're joined on Newsroom Series by counter-terrorism expert, Mr. Dixon Osage. Yeah, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Olumide. Good afternoon.
Now, what are your views about the recent security situation in the Northwest region of the country?
You see, the end bad governance protest, I possibly see it as an avenue for the government to have a feedback from the people, you understand? And some group of criminal elements try to capitalize on that bad governance and, try to, destabilize the critical infrastructure of the federal government and other properties of belonging to Nigerians. But going by what is happening in the Northwest, I think this security situation is disturbing because most of them are going off board. I've seen some national flags, international flags belonging to Russia and other belonging to Russia, flying around in the Northwest region, which basically I think is not acceptable. But I would possibly want to use this opportunity to appreciate the Nigerian police for a job well done, during the end bad governance, because the management of this incident is a very good one, and I see it as a professional conduct from them, applying this stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and stage 5. Use of force to ensure that Nigerians are not being killed unnecessarily. This is a very good one from them, because the end SARS protest was very disturbing because of the application of wrongful use of force. So I think the Nigerian government truly managed this situation very well in a professional manner.
Now, in the heels of that is the very disturbing recent killing of soldiers that happened in Sokoto State last weekend by bandits. How could this have happened?
Well, you see, it's so sad you train a soldier so hard, or you train an army officer so hard, or a military officer so hard, and you allow them to die cheap. You see, these deaths are preventable. Trust me, they are preventable. And that's why sometimes you don't need to, underestimate the enemy. When you underestimate the enemy, this is what you get. And sometimes before you project military personnel in the battlefield, in any given area, or you're trying to send them for any reconnaissance mission or strike force mission, you need to ascertain the territory of the enemy. You need to also understand that these guys, they are not jokers, because we fail to also understand that terrorists, they are well planned, they are well organized. They have international coverage. Some of them are well trained. And I would not say they are trained more than our military. Our military are capable anytime, anywhere. But the issue is our military should also understand the area of force protection. Protect those that are meant to protect those. Don't allow them to train hard and die so cheap. Now we're having our officers and men being killed like chicken. It's not acceptable. And I think the military command, should start looking at, applying reconnaissance measures before you send in troops to any risk environment. Ascertain the threat metrics of that environment. Don't just put them in a truck and say, hey, enemy suspected position, go there and decimate these guys. No. First of all, carry out area surveillance within that environment. Ensure you have the capability and capacity to decimate those criminal elements so that they don't give you surprise, or they don't surprise your men or lay an ambush for them. But listen, ambush is one of the most dangerous phases of war, because you can't tell where these guys are anytime, any day, anywhere. But you will be able to, escape ambush if you truly have a successful or have an effective surveillance mission or area surveillance mission to ascertain the area of the territory of the enemy. Then you know their numbers, you know their strength, then you go in and decimate them.
Indeed, it's one thing and a very tragic thing as well, for civilians to lose their lives from the attacks of bandits. But there's an added dimension of tragedy, I guess, when it's the security forces who are protecting the civilians who get the short end of the stick. There is some reticence on or being mute on the part of the army about this. We've not heard so much about the reasons and the dimension of what happened. Is this the right thing to do?
Well, you see, we need to also know that in any given environment or in a situation like this, there must be casualty from either side, and some persons might be unlucky to pay the price or to pay the supreme price. The military are not meant to talk too much. Sometimes they do what they're supposed to do. They carry out their duties in a professional manner. They are not supposed to come to the media and start telling the media this is what we've done or this is what we've not done. I have been able to, carry out 1 or 2 training within the military formations, and I've seen that the Nigerian military are doing a lot in the area of social responsibility. You know, if you go to part of the northeast, northwest, you see a lot that the military are doing. And I've advised the general in charge of corporate social responsibility that you need to start putting all this good deed of the Nigerian military on social media so that people will see and understand what the military are doing, in exception of engaging these criminal elements or the terrorists. So for me, I think we need to support them and also encourage them. But they must remember that they must protect our soldiers, they must protect our officers, because you must not allow them to die so cheaply, like I rightly said. Ensure they are given the proper, protective equipment, because in any given country, like I was watching a movie, a live video when the Israeli forces went to rescue some of their citizens within the Hamas territorials. Then I was so impressed about the force protection, how they carry out that operation. So the military should sit down, relax, because they've been so engaged from the east, west, and north, driven by the multi-dimensional security threats bedeviling our country. So what they should start looking at is to come back home, relax, have an effective plan, and ensure that they protect us from the east, west, and north, and do not allow their officers and men die cheaply from the hands of criminals. What do you think
is the global standard for counter-terrorism, given the fact now that the military has not been forthcoming about the information concerning this incident?
Well, from the global perspective, counter-terrorism is not a military perspective. You understand? It's both military-centric and population-centric. But here in our own climate, we just think it's all about the military. If it's all about the military, I think we're going to live with terrorism till eternity. We have the political formation, the political will, the people-centric approach as well, because the military needs information from you and I to ensure that they take out this criminal element. They need cooperation from the society to ensure that they take out this criminal element. They have the capability, they have the capacity to do this. But sometimes I think from the area of intelligence gathering, they're lacking in that area because some one or two bad criminal elements within the forces maybe compromising intelligence. And I think what this military should start doing is that they should start looking at fetching out most of these bad elements that have infiltrated the security forces, maybe from the military, the police, and other security agencies, because we have a country to protect. And for us to protect this great country, we need people that are ready to serve this country and die for this country in a professional manner. So I think the military should go back to the drawing board and reassess their operational planning, also reassess their tactical planning as well, because from the tactical perspective, we've seen sometimes how our military command deploy their soldiers and officers in the battlefield for 4 years, 5 years, 3 years. That's an operational error. Don't leave a soldier in the battlefield more than 9 months, because if you don't know when you are going back home, I tell you, when the enemy firepower comes or attack comes, you want to withdraw because you don't know when you're going back home. So they should reassess their tactical operation and tactical planning, then they will succeed in this given area of counterinsurgency.
Indeed. What country doesn't want their military to succeed? Our condolences, our sympathy also to the families of those soldiers that lost their lives, because we know that there are people that are left behind when their husbands and their fathers were serving in the line of duty for the fatherland. Thank you so much.
Thank you. They are the true heroes.
Indeed. Mr. Dixon Osage, counter-terrorism expert on Newsroom Series.